You guys like my new Crocs? Hey, what's going on, everyone? Hunter with Rebel Outdoors, and today we're going to talk about why I took off all my Baja Lights and kind of some future lighting changes for the truck. Starters, I want to get this out of the way. They were not bad. I didn't not like them. They were great lights, worked really well, looked good, all that. Reason I'm doing this is because after realizing some things, which we'll talk about a little later, I just decided that I wanted to go with the original light plan on this build than the one that I ended up choosing, and that was to go with lights by Heretic Studios. So this truck had a lot of Baja lighting on it before, probably more noticeably the two LP9s that were in the front here, XLEs, ditch lights, you know, the works, all that kind of goodness. And one thing I came to realize is, was it a little too much lighting? And I think the answer was yes, it was a little too much lighting. Reason being, I had two LP9s that were my main front lights, right? Now, by I'm sure a lot of other builds that you guys have seen, it's not the most overboard things, right? I didn't have like ditch lights that were forward facing, I didn't have a light bar forward facing, didn't have grill light forward facing. I pretty much just had them LP9s and like I think some small ambers in the bumper, but I'm never, ever the first guy in the convoy. I'm always like the last, I'm in the middle, so like it didn't make sense for me to have these massive lights that would just sit on the front of my truck and look cool when I couldn't actually use them. So that was the reason why I wanted to initially get rid of those, right? So I ended up then taking the XL80s off the ditch lights and I put them on the bumper where I had the LP9s. And yeah, those were great too, right? Smaller. I could access the front camera, because for those of you who don't know, right here is the front camera, and this hood may not look like much, but it's kind of hard to see, you know, over things. But anywho, so I realized like I don't really need these either. Like this is kind of overkill too, because again, like I'm never the first guy in the convoy. Yeah, if like I'll be honest, back roads and stuff at, you know, like midnight, 1 a.m. it's pretty cool, pretty nice to have, you know, because you can really see out far. But it was just a little too much. And while the Baja Designs amber lights look really good and function really good, I just really like the look and the ambers of the Heretic lights a lot better. So I pretty much ended up selling all those off. The only ones that I have left are currently in my rear bumper because they're not working. I don't know if that's a wire issue, but I had one working for a little bit. Now neither of them work, so that's something I have to figure out first. If it turns out it's just a wiring issue, then yeah, I'll probably sell the lights too. But, you know, I'm not going to sell something that doesn't work. So, anyway. So now that I got that little explanation out of the way, I'm going to kind of talk to you guys about my thought process of what lighting I'm going to put where and why. And, as usual, I am definitely open to any kind of input you guys have before. Right? I'm not going to go too overboard with lighting. I'm not going to put a million different forward-facing lights on this truck because I think it's kind of, you know, whether it does look good or not, like, you don't really need a light bar, a bunch of big lights in the front, and like all these forward-facing lights. Like, just get you some good stuff, because unless you're like a Baja racer, you know, talking to like the overland rock crawling community, even though I probably more just fit in the overland community, it just makes sense, right? Kind of. Anyway, let's get into it. So this is a Chassis Unlimited Octane Series bumper, and I added these little brackets on here. These are pretty pretty sturdy, and I put these on here specifically so I could mount the LP9s on, but with me not having those at all, I am going to be chopping these off and sanding it, painting it back up so that way these are completely gone. Now, in this bumper, they do offer like 3 different places for lights, but you can see here I have the control box for my winch, so I will not be utilizing either of these 2 front lights, but if I could, or switch to a different winch or whatever, I think some white spots, and like they call these are Quattro series, and their Quattro would be perfect for right here, right? Forward facing white light. Now these that I have in here are a combo series Quattro, and this I think is enough in the wings, we'll call it, of the bumper. Now for those of you who are not aware, this truck and a lot of other newer vehicles like that have like a cornering light, so when you turn your wheel there will be a light that will kick on that side to illuminate, so you can see like over here or whatever. That's also tied into your fog light switch. So what I might end up doing is keeping these here, right? And right now these are currently wired up to that cornering light feature, so I do need to change these back to a normal switch so I can get the full amount of lighting back from that. But I think what I'm going to end up doing here is either getting a wide lens, another Quattro, right, and kind of have it angling down in this way so I can get that cornering feature back, or I'll do their little double light, which would probably make more sense, in that same manner, and just so I can get those cornering lights back, but then also have these for some forward-facing fog lights. Now I still have these Baja Designs ditch brackets because I really like this location, and I wanted to keep them, so I kept them. So basically my thought process was here that my buddy Clay did from Commonwealth 4x4 is they make a 4 light that go this way, so it's like a mini light bar, right? They have 4 different lights and an amber. Now I really do like amber lights for everything because I think they just work a lot better, right, in adverse conditions. So I'm probably going to get some amber of those and have them as your traditional style ditch lights. Now up top in these handles for the roof rack that I have by Sherpa 4x4, they actually make a little bracket that goes in here to where you can mount like a rock light, and Heretic Studios did just come out with some rock lights, so I'm thinking about getting them for only these front 2 on either side in a amber, because those do also kind of help with bugs, so I'm probably going to do that there. I don't know if I'm going to do anything on here yet. I might do it back here because I do plan to put a solar panel up on this back half, so that way nothing can, you can't really put anything up on top there, so I might end up doing it there instead of here. Reason being I can still utilize all of this, so that might make more sense. I think I'm going to do that. And then speaking of rock lights, I'm definitely going to end up getting some probably to put under like these 2 parts of the truck, and then I might end up trying to see if I could put something maybe up in this wheel well, because I've seen people do that where it'll kind of shine down here and can really help out. I think that would be a pretty good idea. Now before we get on to the back, those of you who've been following the channel know that I'm currently testing out a new Skinny Guy camper prototype, so it's not a permanent thing. And normally I have a topper, an all aluminum custom topper that my buddy Jeremy over at New Holland Overland made for me. So in that I have like built-in ditch lights, which I will be putting in some of those dual series lights, kind of like a Baja S2, the Heretic equivalent of that, and an amber flush mount, so that way I will have some ditch lighting back there. With the rock light, I think the rock light's going to be tied into like a scene light system, whereas this I had on a switch before, so that way I could just shine a bunch of light out on either side for cautionary whatever. And also in the rear of that topper, I had 2 chase lights and the Baja Designs RTL. I kept the RTL because it's functional, right? And Heretic doesn't make anything like that. So I kept that in, and then I'll end up doing the same thing, get some like wide, scene style amber chase lights for that. Now under here you can see the Baja Designs S2 Sports in a flush mount, and I will be getting those also in a white kind of wide pattern. for reverse lights once I figure out my issue to why these are not working. And then I had thought about putting some kind of a rock light on the rear. I don't really think it's really too necessary. You know, maybe like one just to kind of shine down in this area in the back. Let me know what you guys think. So now we're inside my garage, and this is the topper I was talking about. Obviously this thing is in storage. Pardon the mess because I'm still in the middle of remodeling my house, but you can see I have these bars that are built into what is essentially the ceiling of the topper. And what I've been thinking about doing is tying in to the rock scene light system, I guess we'll call it for now. I'm thinking about tying in like maybe one rock light in the middle, that's the cap side, just for reference, and then maybe like one right up in here, just so that way you can get some kind of in-bed lighting. And then as well, you'll notice this piece is a little shorter than this. This kind of just opens up in the topper, but this is a little cubby where I have like tools and recovery gear typically in, so I'll probably end up putting, you know, maybe like one on each corner, just so that has lighting as well. So when it comes to any kind of forward-facing lighting on the roof rack, I don't like that because I had that on the Rebel, and even though the Rebel had like this black vinyl decal like thing on the front on the hood, like it still reflected a little bit, and it was still just not the most fun. And besides, I don't really need to see what's on my hood. I would rather put like some type of a solar panel so I can get extra juice in the battery. But nothing too crazy. Again, I'm probably going to end up getting all ambers for and all the different kind of lighting on this truck, except for like the reverse lights. You know, having some additional white light is helpful. It's not, you know, a bad thing to have, but personally with this kind of minimalistic lighting setup that I'm going to be getting for the truck, I think it's important to have function, and the amber definitely provides, in my opinion, more function over the whites, just because of like adverse conditions, whether it be snow, dust, rain, whatever. I just think that makes more sense to me. Now, I do have aftermarket headlights, and they're pretty bright because I get flashed all the time. And I have automatic high beams enabled because I just like that. So I can't flash them back, so I need something to kind of flash people with. And I mean, like I said, these things are plenty bright. I don't drive fast anyway. I'm never the first one in the convoy, so it doesn't really make sense for me to get like some stupid crazy white light, forward-facing white light. But that's going to wrap up this short little video, guys. Let me know what you think. You know, anything you guys would switch out placement wise. Are you a fan of, are you a diehard Baja guy? Am I stupid for selling all those and wanting to switch up my lighting? Does this new setup make more sense? Definitely open to any kind of criticism, things like that. So be sure to get down in the comments, let me know. Also, like, share, subscribe. Try to post videos every week, whether it be overlanding, truck stuff, hunting, whatever. I'm getting ready to head out to Nebraska here soon, so there will definitely be some more hunting content to come. As always, guys, catch you in the next one.